Hey everybody, welcome to Power Rich Homestead. Thanks for coming back. So I just wanted to give you an update on everything I'm doing today. We're doing apple butter, and I've already got ahead of myself. So I've got the apples already cut and in the pot. They're just going to go on about a 6 on my stove. I've got to get them soft, and then I'm going to use the immersion blender and I'm going to blend them down. So we're making apple butter. It's not really butter, but it's similar to a jam. So it's kind of like a butter consistency. And then we'll go from there. So we've got only a couple ingredients, and then we're going to make a bunch of half-pint jars. So we'll show you that. Right now, we've got, besides the apple pie filling that I did, I made actually 12 jars of that, and then I just recently did 8 jars of, or pints of applesauce. So I still have some apples left over, so I'm going to make some of the apple butter. Don't know how many it's going to make. The recipe itself calls for 5 to 6 half pints, but I've doubled it, so I'm going to see if we get 12 out of it. We might, if we might not, we'll see. But we'll go from there. Look at me, I'm all fogged up. It is a beautiful day. It's October the 10th, and it is so warm outside right now. Sunny, fabulous, fabulous. I just got back from a walk with the dog too, just to make sure he calms down. So I'll show you what I've got. So I used my apple peeler slicer core again this time, and no problems at all with it, like I had last time with the pie filling. If you stayed and watched the bloopers, you'll understand. So this one, no problem at all. I think I've probably got about another 24, 26 cups in there. So let's see how it cooks down, and then it has to thicken quite a bit before we actually call it butter. Okay, so the apples are soft now. They're quite soft. There's still a lot of water in there, but what I'm going to do is, you can do this either in a food mill or we use an immersion blender, and I'm going to use an immersion blender. We'll just get this, and this will be a little loud. We'll just get this smooth now. It's very hot, so be careful if you are using an immersion blender. You don't want it to splash back out at you. Keep it under the applesauce, and it will pull the apples down. So you don't have to stir it, bounce it a lot. Just keep it under. Move it slowly around. I had a couple larger pieces of apple that weren't quite cooked, so let me just get a spoon and we'll just check that. Then what we want to do is add our sugar and our spices. Yep, all good. Okay, so this, I can go and wash it off. Get all the rest of the sticky off. And we just put it away. So now we're going to add our spices and etc. So we want to use a 1 3/4 cups of organic cane sugar. I'm assuming that you can use sugar, plain sugar as well. However, this is what we happen to have some from Costco. So we're doubling this. So 1, 2, and remember this is like a jam, so it is going to be a bit sweeter. We want 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, so we've doubled, so 3 teaspoons, or 4 teaspoons. Math is not my strong suit. Huh. Okay. 1, 2, 4. And then it was half a teaspoon of ground cardamom. I didn't have any ground cardamom. All I had was cardamom seed. So I have a little coffee grinder. So I just ground some seed, and it calls for a teaspoon, or half a teaspoon. We're doubling it, so I'm putting in a teaspoon. That's it. Those are the only spices that you're going to put in. It's sugar, cinnamon, and cardamom. Get this back on the stove. Get the sugar melting. Just grab my gloves. We want to get this turned back on low. Give this sugar a stir until it melts, dissolves. Get all the spices mixed in. And then once this is all blended and stirred up, it's going to sit on the stove for a little while until it starts to thicken. Pardon me, and then comes to a jam consistency. So as you can see, it's certainly not jam right now, so we've got a little bit of cooking to do. And the sugar will definitely help thicken it up as well. I'll make sure there's no lumps. There we go, got a nice color. It'll deepen in color as well as we go along. A few chunks of apples, that's okay. Once they cook down a little bit more, they'll pretty well dissolve into the rest of the recipe. Chunks of cinnamon though, I'm going to get rid of those. I figure this might take about an hour on low. Just keep stirring it regularly so it doesn't burn on or stick. And we'll let it sit. Be back. Okay folks, so this took a little bit longer than I expected, but that was okay. I left it on really low. We've had dinner, etc. So it's had an opportune time. You can see it's gone down maybe about 1.25 inches, a little bit. It's gotten quite thick. It will get thicker as it cools, of course. I don't think it's quite as thick as they mention in the recipe, but I'm going to go ahead and can it anyways. So I've got some small jam jars. There we go. So my steam canner will take 12 half-pint jars. So let's see if we can get 12 of them full. I want a 1/4 inch headspace. It looks like it's going to be 2 ladles and maybe a half. There we go. I do have some left in the pot, so I'm just going to put that in a jar and put it in the fridge. And then the rings on, or the flats on. There we have it. I just need the lid. The water in the bottom is already getting warm. You want to make sure that the lid fits, so just kind of move them around a little bit. We'll wait till that gets the pressure up. And then it's going to water bath for 15 minutes. Jars. I did have a separate jar, one more jar from the pot that I did have, but it didn't fit into this canner, and I had just put it in the fridge so we can have it tomorrow. And I also did have a little bit left, so let's try it. I love the taste of the cardamom in there instead of just cloves and ginger and that type of stuff. Nutmeg. It's the cardamom, I think it just kind of gives a different flavor. It makes it like a jam. It has that flavoring. It's really good. So I'm going to let these cool. They'll cool overnight. Then I'll make sure that they're all sealed properly. Rings are off. I'll label them. We'll put them downstairs in the pantry. So that gives me 12 jars of apple butter, 8 jars of applesauce, and 12 jars of apple pie filling. That was almost a bushel. I still have, I don't know, maybe about 10 or 11 apples left, and I'm going to make something with them fresh. So, but the rest of the stuff just goes into the pantry, and we've got it there. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.